Soon, the Lion King's family created a big scene. Two people held their breath, wondering, a showdown. The Prairie brother joined, those ready for a grand performance. Alicia's shriek attracted the crowd's attention, and thankfully, Spencer's shooting was as spot on as his jokes, scaring off the other beasts. The Lion King's family clearly had no intention of backing off, even with Spencer armed. It seemed he was in for a showdown filled with hunting. As scared as Alicia was, wanting her mom to rescue her, the rescue team arrived right on cue, giving them an A+ for their miraculous getaway. Despite just being in a blockbuster, once they got into the car, they swiftly hit peak life, hastily launching into passionate kisses, with Alicia making Spencer forget all else. At the romantic East African coast, they enjoyed bliss until Alicia found a pile of bills and letters. On questioning, Spencer confessed that these were his terrifying family letters, where life on the battlefield was as precarious as walking on eggshells. One misstep could lead to avoid being tied down by homesickness. Spencer never dared to open the letters. Alicia decided to help him unburden himself by reading them one by. That night felt like a time warp, with memories of home flooding back like an old movie. Spencer appeared to be soaking in and immersing himself deeply into that family nostalgia. Your brother bit the dust, and when you got this letter, I bet your uncle also joined the overhead crowd. Your sister got hurt too. These letters come with your legendary tale, as the war rages on, tied deeply to your family. This letter hit like a bolt from the blue, awakening Spencer, realizing the letter's date was 3 months ago, while he and his adventurous crew were still miles away. Heartbroken, Spencer resolved to head back to Montana immediately, taking on the mantle of the Dutton family. After all, his father was the legendary James Dutton. His brother had mentioned a big guy in Royal Tales, who arrived in Montana back in 1883, laying the foundation for what would later become the Royal Ranch. But sadly, the eldest daughter, Tiger Girl, passed away before they could arrive. Soon after, Big Guy also retired in a shootout with horse thieves, leaving only the widow and her 2 young kids. So she had no choice but to write to her brother-in-law, Jacob, begging him to come from Scotland for help. When Jacob and his wife, Cara, arrived a year later, the widow had already passed away. Through 40 years of diligent management and unwavering effort, the Royal Ranch has successfully emerged as the foremost farm in Montana. John's son, Jack, was now at that age where weddings were on everyone's mind. My little nephew Spencer bravely enlisted in the Great War, but after fighting heroically, he hadn't returned home promptly due to the need for psychological relief. Years spent alongside African beasts left the Western Royals' pastures a barren wasteland, with cattle and sheep dropping dead like flies. So, Jacob decided to take the cattle up the mountain to graze so that they could enjoy fresh and tender grass. But little did he know that his feud with Jacob would bring devastating disaster to the family. Truly, never mess with a royal. Dare to run rampant on royal grounds. Old Jacob wouldn't let that slide, hanging him and his accomplice from a tree to meet their maker. Why not just hang them for good? The old man took the chance to teach the youngsters, it's purposely leaving them a sliver of life, the wise approach. Little Jack looked bewildered, much like the cuties upstairs, but little did the old man know that the survivor would be Leader Banner. He had once been a mercenary in the army, while his buddy swung to their demise. Banner stayed calm, biding his time for a chance. Soon enough, the opportunity came knocking as if all the stars aligned just for him. Banner skillfully pulled out a knife from the saddle, severing the ropes and landing successfully. A person who could exhibit such resolve was bound to find opportunities to strike. One day, old Jacob took the whole family to the town to shop for wedding supplies for little Jack, blissfully unaware that a pair of eyes was watching from a distance. After a day of shopping, the family got ready to head home. Old Jacob instructed cowboy leader Zane to lead the way. Before long, as they were making their way back, suddenly a quarter current sent a Guto Grove gunshots rang out all around. They were still figuring out the situation when another round went off, and they discovered Jack's fiancée had been hit. Old Jacob quickly ordered everyone to get out of the vehicle. Even though shot, old Jacob stayed calm, directing counterattack. As enemies emerged, they took cover behind trees. To their surprise, a bumpy ride pulled up behind them. It was Tough Guy Banner, holding the latest submachine gun, as the cavalry scrambled into a desperate retreat. Banner immediately abandoned cover fire, while the others were picked off one by the cowboys. Meanwhile, Old Lady Carr seized the moment to check the tree trunk. Old Jacob Dutton took 9 hits and was left hanging in the balance. Nephew John fell on the spot, and little Jack got shot in the shoulder, impulsive and in need of practice. The whole family suddenly found themselves in an unprecedented crisis, as various factions lurked around, eager to carve a slice of cake from the Royal Ranch. Once the news got out, the hunting hounds would be ready to pounce. When the time came, even the once mighty Dutton family would struggle to respond. At this moment, the family had no man left to step up, like a bear carcass with 3 legs missing. Old Lady Carr privately called the doctor for emergency care while forcing herself to calm down outside the house. She began writing a letter to her little nephew who was far away in Africa, telling him, in any war, patience is key. You must return home to carry on this epic fight. After finishing the letter, she summoned her trusted cowboys to send it off. Seeing her family's blood everywhere, she could no longer hold back her emotions, sneaking outside to weep in the grass, but once she was done crying, she had to gather herself again. After all, who knew when her little nephew's troops would return? She was the only one left to barely steer the ship. And they say royal women can hold up half the sky, and Cara Dutton was no exception. Just as the family's cowboys dispatched the attackers, she spotted a sneaky culprit trying to escape and promptly picked up her rifle to chase it down. She was confident she could make the decision with precision and luck. Now, she was ready to shoulder the family's responsibilities. To confront those lurking hounds, with the mastermind behind this assault, Banner, being the fiercest of them all. Just then, she realized that once the lion recovered, it would surely go on a rampage, so the only option was to take a bite while she had the chance. So, she decided to start building an army immediately to raise funds, seeking out the local mining company's boss. This man had long been eyeing the royal ranch, and subsequently, Ben lied about wanting to take out all the male heirs of the Dutton family, promising the mining boss that she would swallow the royal ranch within 6 months, reaping its gold, silver, and coal. The hounds and the tiger hit it off, but the tiger knew all too well the hound's treachery. "I will kill your wife and make sure she ceases to exist forever. I'll hide your children away in the depths of her backside." And just like that, Banner formed an army that very day, heading to a royal ranch camp that night, killing a few cowboys before stealing all the cattle, which raised alarms for the Duttons right away. Jack immediately wanted to lead a pursuit, but Cara forcibly stopped him and demanded that he calm down. She knew Jack couldn't afford to mess up again, but half the family's cattle had been stolen. Unsure how to respond, she could only hold her husband's hand, praying for divine guidance. Perhaps heaven was looking favorably upon the troubled Dutton family, for old Jacob miraculously woke up. "Don't shoot anymore. Wait until Spencer gets here. Let the cowboys go first. Only I can swiftly dispatch them and protect everyone." With the words spoken by old Jacob, the members of the Dutton family ultimately reached a consensus. "We must keep the news of old Jacob's serious injury strictly under wraps until Spencer returns, with Cara being responsible for all family affairs entirely."